Good.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Voice of the Voices. I'm Ansel Young, and today I am joined by a very special guest.
J. Michael Tatum, who this crazy son of a bitch is actually cosplaying today. He is actually wearing, we've known each other now for a few years, and he is wearing the outfit that I was wearing when we first met. Right down to the blue pants, the right shirt, and Argyle socks, which I happen to be wearing a version of myself right now. It's a little terrifying and a little creepy to be interviewed by yourself. I'm very nervous and I hope I don't screw it up. Actually, yeah, you don't screw it up either. Because I know me. I'll screw this up.
Just like
Next time,
yeah.
next time you're going to have to shave your head. Yeah, that's commitment.
I don't know if I'm gonna go. This
Actually, just shave my head.
This is pre Tatum. Yeah. This is pre this.
This is pre this. Yeah, this is before and after.
Before he had his Britney meltdown.
Before. All right.
Okay.
Ask away. Do your interviewing.
So let's get started. First off, how did you get started in voice acting?
I was an actor when I was a kid. I did a lot of stage work, a lot of stage. I just kind of grew up. I had a speech impediment when I was very little, and stage literally helped me find my voice. So I pursued stage all the time, did all the community theater I could stand, which was quite a bit. And then later on in life, you know, I kind of turned away from acting because it's rather hard to make a living at. And so I had a whole other career going on for a long time and spent my 20s doing advertising, which, you know, was fine, but I didn't feel like I was really meant to do it. And I just happened to know Christopher Bevins, a good friend of mine, that we were comic book nerds together, and he worked at Funimation, still works at Funimation. It's kind of a warhorse for them, doing all sorts of things, directing and engineering and writing, acting, the whole nine yards. And he just called me out of the blue one day and said, "Hey, you're coming into audition for this part." And you know, I kind of freaked out and said no because it'd been so long since I'd acted that I was terrified of the idea. And I'd never done anything on mic before. It was all stage and a little bit of camera work. So I was like, no, I couldn't possibly, no. And he wouldn't take no for an answer, so wore me down after about 2 weeks. And I finally came in because I feared for my life. And it was a 4-hour-long audition. It was a terribly, terribly intense audition, and I'll never forget it. When it was done, I was convinced that I had screwed it up and he would leave me alone, like get back to my horrible life working in marketing. And I stepped out of the, I'll never forget it. I stepped out of the booth. He threw a bunch of NDAs for me to sign. Well, I thought they were NDAs. I didn't read them very closely, which I should have done. And he said something, I said something to him to the effect of like, how do you people at Funimation get anything done if it takes you 4 hours to audition everybody? And he says, oh, it didn't. It took us 5 minutes. You've actually won the part. And we've just recorded the first 6 episodes with you in this role, and you just signed a contract. So screw you. You're now an actor. And that's how I became an actor. And then the more I did for Funimation, the more I was able to the more you do, the more you get to do in this industry, kind of is the truth. And they asked me to write, which I was glad to do, and then they asked me to direct, which I was glad to do, and it's kind of been, it's been 10 years, and it doesn't feel like it. It feels like I just started doing this like just a few weeks ago. It still feels weird and like a dream to me, in a good way. I'm so fulfilled and so happy by it that time flies, so I can't believe that it was 10 years ago that I started doing voice acting, but man, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Now, if I remember correctly, I believe that show that you were just talking about, the first show you worked on was Samurai 7, correct?
Samurai 7, yeah.
What was it like working on that?
It was great. I mean, first of all, it's based on the Akira Kurosawa film, Samurai 7, or Seven Samurai, rather. And I love the film. I love the film. It's one of my favorites. I try to watch it as often as I can because it's one of those that holds up really, really well. It's just a great story, beautifully filmed. And the anime does a really good job of kind of bringing that movie into the sort of sci-fi universe. And it's beautiful. And it's just a wonderfully emotionally true piece of work, and the character I played was very emotional and very heroic in his modest way. He wasn't naturally heroic. He had to learn to be heroic, and that was something that resonated with me. Rikichi was the character's name, and he was very emotional. I basically learned how to act again working on that role because he kind of got to run the gamut of his arc was very interesting and very emotionally involved. So I had to learn a lot about myself as an actor in those months, and it was wonderful. I loved everything about it, and so Rikichi will always have a special place in my heart as being that character that kind of brought me back to acting. And only after I'd done it had played that character for a while that I realized how much I'd really missed it acting, and so Rikichi was my gateway back into my destiny, I guess, to sound highfalutin, but yeah, one way or another it finds you. So yeah, that's what it was like for me, and it was great.
I know the question is not on the sheet, but I know you did.
You're gonna
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, no.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Well, you said you're gonna mess with me, so I'm gonna try and mess with you a little bit.
Oh, he's getting saucy, ladies. They grow up so quickly.
Well, I'm cosplaying you, so I have to be a little bit saucy, right? So, the first 6 episodes that you recorded, you said you didn't know. Like, obviously, you thought you were still auditioning.
Right. That's what I was told.
After you, whatever work you did on it after the fact, you knew that you did get the role.
Right.
Did that change how you approached it? Were you a little bit more like, oh my God, people are going to see this?
Yeah, I was more nervous when I came in for other sessions at each subsequent contract, because I felt like, oh, this is for keepsies now. This is what I'm doing is going out there into the world, and I'm going to see it. I honestly thought it was going to be the only thing I'd ever do. And it just it'd be a great story that, oh yeah, I got to play this character in this really cool anime once upon a time, and isn't that awesome? And funny story, it just so happened that after we finished recording, Funimation shopped it to various television networks, and at the time there was a channel called the Sundance Channel, which I don't think is around anymore. But it was, they really liked Samurai 7 and wanted to broadcast it, so it went to broadcast, and on their website, Sundance Channel was plugging the hell out of it, and they had little clips from each show, from each episode, available to watch as kind of a preview. It was really cool. So my first exposure to the broadcast community was the scene that made it onto their website was Rikichi in drag singing the "Gotta Plant the Rice" song. That was my first exposure to the public, and I didn't know. Bevins called me on the phone cackling one afternoon and said, "Oh my God, go to the Sundance Channel website and look at the promo for episode 8." And that's what happened. It was incredible. Yeah, that was my first foray into PR.
Now, a newer show you worked on, Defrag, which is comedy. What was it like working on that?
I love the comedies. I love working. I up until Defrag, I hadn't really gotten to work on a lot of comedies as a writer. The comedies usually go to people far more adept, like Jamie Markey, who done tons of stuff. And this is real life, ladies and gentlemen. It's real life. But Defrag is such a crazy, wild, but at the same time very intelligent show with a lot of heart in it. I had such a good time writing it, and then later got to go back and play everyone's favorite masochist. And that was fun too, just because getting to be those big, larger-than-life, crazy characters that everyone goes, "What the?" When they see is awesome, and it was great.
Right, as a mermaid, I love your character.
Oh yeah, that's another example of I love doing comedy. I don't often get to write it and then do it. So it was a little nerve-wracking because I thought, as a writer, I'm like, oh, is my comedic timing as a writer working out? I don't know. I'm about to find out because I'm about to perform it, and I was pleased. I was satisfied that I was at least almost as good as someone of Jamie Markey's caliber. Almost, not quite, but almost is still pretty good because Jamie is amazing.
Now, a show that seems to be very, very popular with the girls, Free, Eternal Summer. What was it like working on that?
Sure they could. I have in my career been in some fangirl popular shows. I've been in a handful. Oron, Black Butler. Of course, yeah, that little show that a few people have seen. And now Free, and it's awesome because I think I have this unique position. My career has followed this trajectory. I've been extremely lucky to work on these huge shows that get a lot of exposure and that just fan communities rally around. And it gets bigger and bigger every time. That every time a big show hits, it's even bigger than the last big show that hit. And so as I thought working on something like Black Butler or on all those years ago would prepare me for something like Free, and Free has exploded and become amazing, and everyone loves it. And I'm like, wow, no, the fandom is even bigger than it was. It's just it's cool because I think that means that anime, on the whole, is getting its hooks more and more into the mainstream because of shows like Free and like say Attack on Titan, another very hugely popular show that kind of reaches across the aisle and it gets a lot of people involved into the community. It's awesome. I love Free. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It was a little stressful because when you're working on a show that big, you know everyone's got their own idea of who the characters are and what they are, and so you try your damnedest to kind of honor what you think will do them justice. And but once it gets out there, people kind of begin to love it, and I love the positive. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback for Eternal Summer, which I think I'm very proud of the dub. I'm very proud of my work and my co-actors or my co-stars work. I think it's a damn good dub for a damn good show, and I'm really proud of it. But I still cannot get my head around how huge it is. The really big shows always throw me because I'm like, wow, people love this, and I'm delighted. But it's just I can't believe my luck. That's what it is. I've had a lot of crazy good luck, and I have no idea why because I certainly don't deserve it. But yeah, Free's another one. I can chalk down as being a huge experience. So thank you guys for loving it so much because we love it, and this is great that we're just all on the same page.
Now, another show you talked about this weekend a little bit, and your character's particular fashion sense that you like a lot. Tokyo Ghoul. What was it like working on that show?
Man, when I looked at Tsukiyama for the first time, and Mike McFarlane sent me down and was like, I really want you to play this. Monica Rial was writing the adaptations, and she would tell me, Monica's my neighbor, and said, you've got to at least try out for Tsukiyama because it's like the Japanese creators are daring you not to play him. and dude, I looked at him and I'm like, oh my god, he speaks French. He's ridiculously sophisticated and puts on airs and he's very flamboyant. And look at me just talking about him, and I kind of adopt his mannerisms. And I swear to God, I have some of the same outfits as he does, and we shop at the same stores. Apparently, I didn't realize that, but I'm like, oh well, nice to know I have the taste of a cannibal ghoul. But it was great fun. I love the over-the-top characters that make an immediate impression on the audience. Like I love the characters that walk into a room and just devastate. Like the character that shows up and the minute he or she shows up, this series is not going to be what it was before. Like this character is a hook. This character is a turning point, a sea change, and I love having that responsibility as an actor is great because those characters are very, very challenging. If you don't get them just right, it can kind of throw the whole thing off balance. And Tsukiyama is so wild and over the top that I think it's very easy to overplay it and try to be ridiculous. But I had to strike this fine balance, and I actually directed myself on a handful of scenes in that as Tsukiyama because I was Mike McFarlane's co-director at the time. It was for the broadcast dub, and It was weird directing myself. I had my engineer at the time was kind of new to the scene, and there was the moment where with the handkerchief, that very, very memorable moment. I had to record, and I just told my engineer, Dominic is his name. I said, Dominic, we're just going to do this entire thing all the way through a couple times, and I'll tell you when to stop, but just don't look at me while I do this. I don't want you to watch me. Don't make eye contact. It'll weird me out. And so I did the scene, and afterwards I walked out, and his eyes were just wide, and he just couldn't look at me, but he was like, what? Can I just ask you a question? He said. I'm like, absolutely. He's like, what is wrong with you? What place did you have to go to to do that scene, and why do you have that place? And I just started laughing. I'm like, awesome, I freaked you out. I must have done it right. And then I showed it to Mike later, and Mike cackled and thought it was wonderful. And so, yeah, recording the handkerchief scene was a benchmark moment in my life. I want to cosplay Tsukiyama one day. I'll dust up my outfit that we share and just get a purple wig. I have one outfit in particular. It's the navy with the red shirt and the tie. The slightly less outre of his outfits that I have. I actually have that one, but I really like several of his outfits and I want them all.
Last show question we have for you, Nobunagun. Nobunagun. What was it like working on it? Yeah.
No one can agree. That was another really great one because I got to write a show for Christopher Bevins, of course, my dear friend who got me into this business. And it's not the first show I've written for him, but it is the first show I've gotten to write for him of that particular caliber because it's an extraordinarily fun show. And there's a lot of... Hi! Someone's walking into our shot! That was awesome. So, is that the second time?
We didn't even notice the first one.
I didn't know that. We were so engaged with each other. We didn't know. But the show, what I love about it is I love ensemble pieces. I love ensemble pieces where there's a lot of crazy characters with each of their own backgrounds and they're each kind of over the top and unique in their own way. It was also great writing for accents because Bevins was like, I want all of the characters to have accents that are drawn from their history, from their personal history. And I love it. Subtlety, that's the key. So it's really, really fun to get to write a character. Like, here's this character who's Romanian, the one I played, who has the Romanian accent, and then you have an Indian accent, and you have a British accent, and you have this. It's so much fun to write dialogue for those kinds of distinctions because I eat that stuff up. I love studying dialects, and I love studying, different eras and how self-expression is, how different eras. Go about, what slang from different eras and different geographies. It's really fun to work that in. It's very involved, and Nobunagun was full of it, so I really enjoyed it. And it was fun to go and do, and I got to star opposite Rachel Robinson, who plays my boss in the show, and it was great working off of her, because she's an extraordinarily talented woman and just a great person. I love her to death. And I just love the way our voices sound together. That sounds terribly egotistical, but I honestly think being next to her makes anyone, she just kind of brings out, everything. And so you can't help but radiate around her. She's like the sun and you're the moon, So I love that. It's a good experience. Thank you for bringing it up. Not a lot of people have come to me with that because my role is so small in it, relatively speaking, but I do love doing the accent. Because Saint-Germain, despite having a French name, was actually Romanian in origin. See, we do our research. We know what we're doing. We think about these things.
Okay. So is there anything that you've recently worked on that you'd like to talk about that you can talk about?
There's so many things I'd like to talk about, but I can't. This is the hard part for me. I never know. I've recently done a lot of work for the video game Smite. Of course, I've been doing that for the past couple of years, but recently kind of done some more characters that are coming out soon. A couple of nice big shows that are coming out, of which I will say they are reprisals for me. They are me getting to revisit old territory, and there have been several of those shows, and that's always fun to do and great, especially when you're like, oh, we get to revisit this territory with all the people I love doing the same thing. I can't say what, but there's a handful of those coming out pretty soon, and then I'll be able to do cartwheels in the hall. And I'm working. No, nothing I can talk about. You know how it is.
Yeah, completely understand. So, another question that's not on here. Yeah. Well, I asked this one time to another VA, and it was kind of an interesting answer. Okay. What makes J. Michael Tatum tick?
What makes J. Michael Tatum tick? Ooh, that's a good question. Well, you're cosplaying me. What do you think? I'm curious. I'm going to turn this back on you for a moment. Yeah. I'm going to turn this back on you. What does make J. Michael Tatum tick?
Definitely, his fashion sense plays a role in it. These blue. Not anybody can pull off these blue pants.
That's true. Not just about not just anybody. I'll let you off. Okay. You know what it is. I like people. I really like people. I like meeting people and having fun with people. I like Deadpool cosplayers who like to creep on the cameraman. Hi, Deadpool. One of the appeals to me, the greatest appeal about acting is getting to tell someone else's story. Getting to inhabit another some character and be them fictitious or have them maybe based on a real person, and getting to tell that story because it resonates with an audience in a way that will help them enrich their own sense of self, their own. It'll give them. It kind of, I feel like the point of drama and of acting and all that stuff is, we can never really know enough people in life. Like even our close friends, you might have a dozen if you're lucky, and you might have several more dozen acquaintances. But the people that you really know that change you as a person from knowing them is rare. It just doesn't happen very often. So we read and we project ourselves into the universes of the various shows we watch, or the movies we love, or the plays we go to see. And so it's all about people. It's all about broadening the scope of our perspective on life and on ourselves, but also broadening, but doing it by cultivating multiple perspectives. You can just stack perspectives. So because I've acted and because I try to approach it the way I do, all of the characters I've played become a part of me. They teach me. I try to find the common ground between myself, just as I am, and this character I'm playing, because I want to try to be truthful in my performance. And in doing so, I've always wound up finding that I'm not as different as from these characters I thought. Somewhere inside of me is a very dapper ghoul that wants to eat people. Somewhere inside of me is a demon butler. Somewhere inside of me is a young teenage boy, concerned with perfecting his butterfly technique. All of that I get, and because of it, there goes Jason Voorhees killing people. And see again, when would I ever get to see this in real life? But I mean, I know I'm rambling because I ramble. You know me. But it's really about becoming different people and kind of inhabiting consciousnesses that aren't your own in a way that kind of gives you a sort of emotional vocabulary with which to articulate who you are and how you feel. Because I find if you can help people or yourself sort of chart their inner territory, it helps them grow. It gets them through life. It makes me better able to talk to people. It makes me better able to just live every day, get up out of bed in the morning and have some meaning. So that's what people are to me. And getting to act is my way of getting in touch with people on a level apart from just small talk or whatever. It's profound. It's a profound experience for me, and I love it. And the fact that I've had the great good fortune I've had in my career to be on the con circuit the way I am puts me into contact with people that I never would have met otherwise, and then yet more people that get added to this inner world of mine, like yourself. It's great. It's very enriching. It's in a way I know myself so much better than I would have had I followed a different path in life. So that's what acting is to me, and that is. I think it's an extension of everything I love about people and everything I love about being alive. It's a fascinating experience, and I can't wait to see what's next. Who will I meet tomorrow? Who will I play tomorrow? It's great. That's, in not so small a nutshell, what makes me tick.
Great answer.
For a second there, I thought you were asking what makes me a dick, and I'm like, oh, well, that's caffeine. Or lack thereof. Now shut up, you shut up. See, look, I have, somewhere inside of me is a dick. Wait. That's something that's out there now. Yep.
Okay. Just in case.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That was the thing at Amkey. Okay. So before this gets any worse, would you care to share your social media, just in case any of your fans want to follow you on Facebook or Twitter or any other?
Yeah, sure. Of course, my Facebook page is just Michael Tatum on Facebook. I don't have a fan page. I don't. And then computers. I do have a Twitter, however. It's just J.Michael Tatum. Yeah, I was the first one that got that name. How pleasant is that? And those are pretty much it. I should get an Instagram, and I probably will soon. Maybe. I know, right? I love that there was a free cosplayer that just had this bit. Anyway, so yeah, that's so Twitter and Facebook, and I don't know. I'll find some way. Courier pigeon. Morse code, smoke signals. Stand in front of your mirror after midnight, say my name 3 times, I appear with a beverage of your choice. In a TARDIS, naturally. Yeah, that's me. I like to be mysterious.
Well, thank you. Michael, for another fun interview.
Well, thank you, Ansel, for another fun interview, and for well, mini me. That's he's mini me. That's you're never gonna live this down.
Oh, I'm gonna cosplay this again.
Please do it every time.
Every time at a con?
time.
Okay, I will do that then.
We'll be like if we're gonna be at a con, like we'll get together on this and we'll make sure that our wardrobe is planned out for the entire weekend.
I don't know about the entire weekend.
No, do it. I'm serious. We'll I'll bring you stuff. I'm like, here, what's your size? Wear this, and I'll it'll be hysterical. It will be hysterical.
All right, we'll make it happen.
Actually, it's self-serving. What's going to happen is you're going to be with me at some point, and like a cadre or a horde of fangirls is going to see me, and I'm just going to shove you to them and run the hell off. You're going to be my...
So that's what's going to happen when I'm your liaison, and when I'm staffing another con, you'll be like, I want him, I want him to wear everything I'm wearing.
You're going to be my decoy.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Ansel.
And I'm sorry.
And we'll see you next time.